Last time we looked at procure to pay, the process of procure to pay, which is P2P, and order to cash,
Yes.
which we refer to as O2C. Do you have any?
O2C, yeah. Yes.
Do you have any question regarding those two processes?
No. I'm fine with them. I understood them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if you understand, today we are going to look at three concepts. One is the application. Second thing we are going to look at is the instance. So we look at something we refer to as user. So to begin with, we start with the instance, which will be our number one. So when it comes to the instance, we usually say, I mean the application, sorry, not the instance. What we usually say is we have forms. Oracle has forms. For example, let me use some illustrations here. You have that one form. We have another one there. We have another one here. So you have another one here. What happens is that, for instance, let's assume these are the forms or pages that we use to insert data to the data system, I mean to the database. We use forms. For example, let's say this is supplier page. And this one we say it's invoice form. This one we say is payment forms. Then we have maybe payment manager. So with this, we usually, as a user, we start with accessing or working with the application or storage of data from the point of accessing the application. Through by accessing the application, we have to go or we have to use the forms. Then with forms, we have something else called the database. Okay. We have the database here. Let's assume this is our database. So what we usually do, we usually, if it's, for example, suppliers, we are creating suppliers in our database. We access this supplier page. We key in the data of supplier, then we trigger or click save, and it is stored in our
Source.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Ulikuwa umepotea kidogo. I can hear you now.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, for example, let's make that one red. We are creating suppliers, and in supplier we have a number of them. So once we key in data in supplier page and click save, it stores the supplier list of suppliers, no matter how many are they in the database. The same case applies to payments. Whatever number of payments we make from the payments page, they also hit the database. The other thing is the invoices. The number of invoices we might create based on how we have been invoiced by the suppliers, we'll also store them in the database through the forms. The same case applies to transactions that relates to the payment manager form. So what am I trying to say is that even if you have 100 suppliers, 1,000 payments that you have made, millions of invoices, all these will come to database. So this is our database. Then after that, we have something else which we refer to as reports. For you to access these suppliers after saving them in the database, yes, you can be able to see them through this supplier page, but in a better way whereby you can be able even to transfer that data to something else. Yes. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, what I'm saying is for you to be able to see this data, supplier details or supplier data that we have saved in the database through the supplier page, yes, you can be able to see it through the supplier page, but for you to see it in a better form and in a bigger picture and in a data that you can be able to work with or even transfer, we usually work with reports. So we'll have something here like this, and it has reports. This is reports. So for example, so you can pull it that way, give it a different color, like yellow. So for us to have a good picture of what is happening, we have to use we have to work with the forms. These are the group of forms. I told you an application is it can be referred as a group of forms, group of relevant forms. Then in those group of relevant forms, now for it to be a fully functional application, we'll have something we'll be referring to as database. Also, we'll need the reports, because these suppliers or these invoices, you can be able to see them in the form area. But now, for example, if you want to see a detailed one, you will come under the report function, and you run. For example, let's say you need to see pending invoices. Okay, you will come under the reports function, and you run a report called pending invoices.
Source.
Yes. Am I still not audible? Hello.
Kuna potea.
I'm not sure.
Oh, I can hear you now, right?
And my connectivity is okay. What about from your end?
Mine is fine too. I think it's fine.
Okay.
Let's continue. Yeah.
What I'm saying is that the first concept you should be able to understand is that for you to have something that you are referring to as an application, it needs to have these three combinations. the forms or pages, and database and report. That whatever has come through the pages or through the forms, it's being stored in the database, processed perhaps, and then you run it as complete, data or information that can help to make a decision. So the most important point you are supposed to note here is that an application is being formed by forms and pages, database, and reports. Those are three things. We have forms, we have database, and we have reports. Okay. Then from there, the other thing or the other concept you should be able to note, let's call this concept 1. Concept 2. Concept 2, what you're supposed to note is that basically what happens is just in case you have done implementation, and for instance, the client that you are doing the implementation for, they need, like for example, here we have 4 forms or 4 pages. These forms, by default, they might have come through with the installation or through the implementation from Oracle. But now you go to a client and the client tells you that, you know what, we need more than this form because of our specific need, so that we can be able to capture certain data with this form or this kind of form. So what you should know is that there is something we call technical, there's someone we call technical consultant. Technical consultants, they are the people who develop these forms so that they can have an enhancement and the satisfaction of a client can be met. So in case you are you happen to find yourself implementing a certain project, and you hear that maybe client wants a certain form or a certain kind of process or procedure of entering or capturing a certain data, and that process is not there, the person who is supposed to be contacted is technical consultant. These are the people who develop, they write a code, or they program a code that forms a form that will, or a page that will suit based on the need of a client, based on the need of the client, and also based on the need of the project. This process of building or coding a new form and coding a program and creating a new form, we call it customization. So whenever you hear that the form is not standard, you get it's supposed to be customization. Oracle forms that comes from once you buy the application and it is installed and the technical person has not done anything on them, they are referred to as standard form. So those are the simple terms you might need to be using them now and then when you're exchanging information with with the technical team or in the other consultants when you are working with. The other thing that can be done customization is reports. There are those standard reports that comes with installation of a system. Once these reports have been installed, the standard reports might not serve the client as per the wish of the client. They might need to have another report based on the need, because of each and every organization, there are different needs and there are different way of doing things. So by way of capturing certain data, they might need to have a different way of reporting. So the other thing that can be customized, it's reports. So the client will come and tell you, as a functional consultant, we need this and this kind of reports. As a functional consultant, you're supposed to tell the technical consultant, like, hey, these are the reports that need to be customized, and these are the details. This is what it's supposed. This is how the report's supposed to look like. This is how the report's supposed to start and end. So key points here is that we usually customize few things like reports and forms, so that they can capture extra information and do extra reporting based on the needs of the client. Is there any question so far? Basically,
No, we're together.
Basically, what
I understand.
In a project, we usually have, I think I had mentioned this, we usually have a project manager, we usually have a functional consultant, we usually have a technical consultant, and we have DBA. Basically, these are the people who work in a project for it to be successful. That's covered. Then the third concept, call it concept 3. I want to give you an illustration of perhaps hotel. Let's say we have a hotel. Let's name this our hotel XYZ. In this hotel, when you go to a hotel, for instance, if you want to order some food, what do you do? That one I'm posing as a question.
Oh, it's a question. Oh, you ask for the menu so that you can see what they have. Then now you can, after you choose, you ask for whatever you choose.
Good. That means for you to access whatever item they are selling, let's call them item. We have item 1, we have item 2. For you to be able to access these hotel items, you find like is item 2. Sorry, you need to have the menu. So without the menu, it can be hard for you to place an order. Okay, it will be hard for you to place an order because actually you don't know what they are selling, right? So under menu, you might find there's other things, there are other sub-menu which gives more details of what is being sold. So we can here say we have a sub-menu. So before you reach to the actual item, you might find like we have breakdown through sub-menu, so that you can go down to, or you can drill down to the real item that you want to order. So basically, the same case applies to an application, or almost the same case application apply when it comes to accessing an application. Let's say this is company ABC. Company ABC, it has an application. But now, for instance, for you to access this application, also it has a menu. Okay, it has a menu, and also for you to access this application, you go down to the actual function or features. We call them functions and stroke features. So let's say, for example, this is feature 1. Then we have feature 2. So what happens, unless you have the menu, you cannot access this function. Unless you have the menu for this application, you cannot have access to this this function or features. The same case applies. There are also submenu in the application. So you might find a menu has been broken down to several submenu, which is relatable or for different functions or capability or capturing different data. The basic thing what you need to know here is that when it comes to accessing the features the way they are, before you get to the menu, here in the hotel, you have to do order so that you can get the items. And before you get the item, you get the menu. Then from the menu, you go down to the item. What happens in an application is that we have something called responsibility. Okay. Without responsibility.
Source.
Yes. Napotea. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you now. I don't know what is happening in a disconnect for like 2 minutes then in a road. I can hear you now.
2 minutes is a lot. But I'm sorry for that. I hope I don't know.
It's fine, it's fine. I can hear you now. Botea tena.
Even now.
Now I can hear you now.
So the point is, what you are supposed to note here is that for someone who is going to use this application, remember the application here we have said is the forms or this combination which we use to key in data in the database, and of course run reports so that we can be able to get the processed data in a form of a report. So this person who is using this, accessing this application is the user. So the point here is that you need to understand, for a user to access the application, they need something we call responsibility. Just a minute. So for a user to access the application, they need the responsibility. So in our future learning, you will come to learn and understand what exactly is the responsibility when it comes to accessing the application. But for now, the concept or the point that you are supposed to note here and to understand very keenly is that before accessing all these features, feature 1 or function 1 and function 2, and go through, get the menu, go through the submenu, then go to feature 1 and feature 2, this user will require the responsibility under this responsibility, through this having this responsibility, it is through this responsibility that only a user can be able to get access to these features. Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Good. So those are the main key points when it comes to an application, whereby a user will need to key in data in the forms or pages. Data goes through the database and gets stored there. When it needs to be retrieved or accessed, the best word is to retrieve. You retrieve this data in the better way through the reports. You can be able to see them through the forms, but like, for example, let's say you have 100 suppliers. You can be able to see them here, but there's nothing much you can be able to do with them when they're in the supplier page. But when they in the form of a report, you can be able to adjust. You can be able to maybe to remove some, Then after that, the next concept that we have looked at is the customization. This is the key word. Customization. Customization is being done by a technical consultant who they can come and modify or create new forms or create new reports. From that, they will be serving the needs of a client based on what they had requested. Then on the third concept, you cannot be able to access the application as a user without the responsibility. So a user will have to get the responsibility, be assigned to a certain user so that they can be able to access functions of an application. So those are the
so the responsibility, is it a feature of the application?
Yes.
Okay.
The responsibility is a feature of application, but the point is it's through the responsibility that the features are attached. So without this responsibility, you cannot be able to get to the. So it's not like more of a feature, but it's more of a function kind of, or a capability. This one you'll be able to understand more when we come to the application. When we log into the application and I show you what do we refer to as responsibility, what do we refer to as a function, what do we refer to as a user, right? You hear me?
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, so the next thing that I want us to look at is the second item here referred to as the instance. So for example, if I ask you, what can you say, what is an instance?
An instance is like a situation. Like a situation, or when some, like, it's like what do we say? Let me say a situation.
Any other answer?
No.
Okay. So what happens? An instance, it's a copy. Usually say for instance. For instance, it's like you are making an example of an already existing thing. So it's like a copy of it, right? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, so when we talk about an instance, we usually have something looks like this. Let me go down a little bit. Say, for example, this is our instance. So this being our instance, what happens is a company, we have company ABC. Company ABC will go to Oracle and purchase a license. Once they purchase a license, they usually get a copy. Or rather, before I explain where the word copy or instance is coming, once they get the license, this guy we are referring to as DBA, DBA will come and install this instance in the company ABC's server. So what happens is, if, for example, we have the application the way it is here. For example, we say we have GL. What does GL mean?
General ledger.
Good. Then we have AP. We have AR. We have cash management. We have fixed asset. We have inventory. We have order management. We have SCM. And the list continue. So, for example, if company ABC has gone to Oracle and purchased a license to use all these applications, the DBA will be given access, or this company will be given access by Oracle, and through this company's DBA. DBA means database administrator. So the DBA, through the access that will be given by Oracle to this company, they will come and do something we call download the application. Once they download the application, they will install it into company ABC server. So here we have a server. So what now you should be able to know is that an instance, it's a copy of a product of Oracle. Because what happens, once you have paid for the license in Oracle Corporation, they give you a copy of their product. So this application, even now,
Spouse.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back now.
I don't know why the problem is so persistent today, but sorry for that.
And also the when it freezes, also the laptop, the screen freezes also. So I don't know. Maybe it's the machine, but it's fine. Let's continue.
So this one is happening in your phone or on your machine, or both?
No, I'm using my phone. I'm using my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for that.
It's fine, it's fine.
So what I'm trying to say is that once Oracle or company ABC decides to use Oracle application, they will go to Oracle and do payment for the license. Once they get the license, Oracle will give them access, maybe in form of a link. Perhaps mostly they usually share a link whereby this company ABCDBA database administrator logins and download this application. Once they have downloaded it, they usually install it in their server. So the reason why we are referring this as an instance is because it's a copy of Oracle product. This Oracle product, it has the capability to be copied and be shared to several or to as many customers as they can come. So the reason why we refer to this as an instance or instance is because it's a copy of Oracle product. That's what you should be able to note. Any question?
No.
Perfect. So the other thing is that let me do this. Let's say, for example, this is our server. This is our server, and in our server, we have installed our instance like this. This is our instance. This is our server. What usually happens is that this being an instance, even as we have the capability of making a copy of as much as we want. So, for example, we can make one copy like this. Then we can make another one. And we have 3 copies. So normally what happens when we are doing the implementation, basically the minimum instances that we work with can be 3 or even more. The first one, we call it the test instance. Okay. The third one, we call it development instance. Development instance. Then this is the second one. The third one, we call it production instance. Under this instance, let me explain. Under the test instance, this is where all the configuration, once we have done all the setup, we have to tell our client, look, this is what we have done. These are requirements that you give. And under those requirements, we've been able to do the setup accordingly. And we now need you to test. You need to test and tell us whether what you had given as requirement is working according to your need. And this is where all the tests are supposed to be done. We call it the test instance. Test instance. Okay. Then we have the development instance. For example, in test instance, a good example that you can be able to test is these reports. When the client tells you that we need a report that have these and these features. This report, once the technical consultant has developed those reports, they will come and attach them to the test instance. Once they have attached them to the test instance, the user or the client can come and do the testing and confirm whether the requirements that they give for the report or the form are working. So all that development or customization, where is it being happening? On the development instance. This is the work of whereby the technical consultants, they will come, they get the access of this development instance, they develop the reports, they develop the forms according to the according to the client's requirement. Once they have finished to develop, they will paste the development or the solution into the test instance. Then the user will come and test and confirm whether they are okay. So what you should be able to know is that development instance is for technical and development of reports, forms, and anything that can be required by the client. Then from there, test instance, it gets to test what has been developed. After all this, after the user or the client has tested and confirmed that this is exactly what we wanted, this solution will be taken and migrated to production. This is production. Production instance is where the business conduct live transaction. For example, if they are selling, if they are maintaining their asset, they will maintain everything here. They will do the original recording in the production instance. And from the production instance, that's where they will produce reports, if they are financial reports, if they are perhaps fixed asset reports, maybe supplier reports. All these reports that, or the data that can be produced from the production instance, that is the data that can be relied in an organization. You cannot produce a report in test and present it to the management, or development instance and present them to the management. The production instance is for the work of producing the live and the real data in an organization. So once all this has been done, the testing, the development and testing has been completed, those solutions, we call them solutions. Those solutions are migrated and now attached to production instance, because this is where the user or the client will be using them, not in test, not in development. They'll be using them in production instance in their day-to-day learning of the business. Normally, you find like we as consultant, the user or the client doesn't give us access to the production instance. Once we have completed developing and attaching the solution to the production instance, it's rare because it's very sensitive. It's very sensitive even accessing it, because it has data that, in case of anything, that data get manipulated, everything can be misled or misreported. So it's an instance that is usually guarded with very strong password to each and every user, whereby not anyone who can just come and access it just for anything. So you need to understand, basically, minimum instances we need when doing the implementation is 3. One is for test. The second one is development instance. And we have production instance. Sorry.
I cannot see the other part.
Which one?
The production instance. I cannot see it on the screen. It's like the screen has been zoomed in. So I think just zoom it out. I can only see the test instance and the development instance circled. I cannot see the production. The other. No, now it's small.
Sorry?
It's smaller now. Just make it bigger. I'm telling you to make it bigger.
And now?
It's like this has been zoomed in. Still the same. Now it's smaller now. Now I can only see one circle. Cannot only the test instance.
And now?
Not yet.
How could it be going
again? Yeah, it's better now.
It's better.
Yeah.
So those are the key things you need to understand about when we have to talk about the instance. So the instance is a copy of Oracle product, and we access it through after the company that it's implementing Oracle application. After they have paid to Oracle, and they get access to or a link to download the application, the DBA of a said company, get access and download the instance or the application. Once they download the application, they install it into the server. Once they install it to the server, they can make as many copies as they wish based on the requirement. And the minimum copies we use when we are doing implementation of Oracle, applications, there are 3. So maybe this one I can also give it some color. And we have production as white. Is there any question so far?
No, it's fine.
It's clear.
Are you recording it? Are you recording the meeting?
Yeah, I'm recording.
Okay. You'll send it to me. I'll go through it again afterwards.
Okay. Sure. So the other thing that I wanted us to look at is the user. What does it mean by user? So when it comes to user, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Normally what happens when we are doing implementation, Oracle usually we call them the seeded or the raw data in terms of working. So when you get this instance, the first user you will get, you usually name them as system admin. Sys admin. So Oracle usually provide the username as, call this username. Username as sysadmin, and they also provide password as sysadmin. So these two usually are the same. That's on the very first instance that you will get. The DBA can have the capability of changing this and assigning it a different password. So in case you go to logging into an application and you find it has a different password, you should be able to know that it is the DBA who has changed. So basically what happens, Oracle provide the first application login credentials are referred to as sysadmin. So the application that you will be able to log in first is the system admin application. And the system admin, you will log in through these two as the first thing, as the first fresh. If you are the DBA, or perhaps the DBA has given you the credentials, of course, I'll teach you how to change the password and all that. So the first user in a new instance, what you're supposed to know is referred to as sysadmin. Okay? Hello.
Yeah.
Then
I can hear you. I can hear you.
The other point that I would like
I can hear you.
Okay. The other point I would like us to look at is Oracle has the training instance whereby for the need of knowledge and impacting people, like the way now I'm training you. Oracle, what happened, like for example, this instance, the way it is, once the DBA download and install it, it will be having no data. It will be as fresh as there's zero data in it. But now, what Oracle did for the purpose of learning, they created, for example, a company. Let's say call this company Vision. Oracle created a company referred to as Vision, and under this Vision company, it created different users, and one of the users is operations. Okay, and operations, then the other one we call it units. These users were created on this company referred to as Vision, and Oracle added some data on them. So when you go and log in under Vision instance, for example, you will find there are some data. We might need to use them for the purpose of learning, but we will not use them because for our case, we want to assume that we are doing it afresh and we are implementing something which is completely new. So we will not use the data that is existing. We will use the completely fresh setup of our case and use the data that we will create. If it's transaction, we create a supplier. Then that supplier, we can be able to create an invoice under that supplier. Then from that supplier, we can be able to pay. In another case, we can be able to create a customer. From that customer, we receive cash or payment. After receiving payment from that customer, we can be able to produce a report or an income and expenditure report through those data. So the most important thing that you're supposed to know is that through the first user that usually has the access to the instance is the sysadmin user. But through the sysadmin, we can be able to access the Oracle operation user or user, so that we can be able to operate under these or create more functions under these operations user. But the key point here under this concept in our case, you should be able to know that the first person who can be able to log in a fresh instance is the sysadmin, and the password of that sysadmin is sysadmin. Is it clear, Brian?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think unless you have a question for today, I would like us to go up to that level so that I can even check why this network is not it's not behaving. Do you have any question?
No problem. Not so far, but today leo hizi vitu ziko ngumu leo,
Zimekuwa ngumu.
but that's what leo zimekuwa ngumu kiasi. But I'll try to kama umesave, kama umerecord, I'll listen tena nione, then I might ask some questions tomorrow. Yeah,
I've recorded and